guys, and welcome to my review of One Piece episode 756. This will be my first review of the One Piece anime, so I'm still kind of trying to find out how to do this. But let me start by going through what actually happened in the episode. So we start off with Kinemon and Garchu trying to climb the leg of the elephant on Nekos and Simon, which is again a really horribly drawn cat. And mostly this this part of the story I found just really funny. They dragged it out a little bit from the manga, if I remember correctly, but I thought it worked really well. And I think the anime in general has just done a really good job with like the drawings that Kanjuro makes, because they're so horribly done, but it's like they put so much detail into making it looking so horrible, and it was really funny. And I thought like the scene where the cat kind of looks back at them and they think it's really scary, I thought that was done really well. It was a little long, but it was a great moment. And then them just like deciding to stay on the sunny, that was just great. By the way, I'm not gonna spoil anything for anime only, it's just putting that out there, so just, yeah. But yeah, they decide to stay on the sunny until morning comes again, so they won't arrive for some time, which is good, as we find out later. We then go to the Straw Hats, who are having this banquet with the minks, and at first it's like really fun. They're drinking and chewing and eating, and they're just like, the mood is light and there's nothing like really happening, so they're just partying. But then like the mood kind of like gets disturbed just a teeny tiny bit when Nami is like, well, what do we do about Sanji? Because, you know, the last episode ended up with Nami being Sanjius, and then we stopped and now they don't care anymore because he's dead. No. But yeah, Luffy and Zoro are both like, well, he left a letter and it's not like he was kidnapped, so I mean, he'll probably come back. But Nami, who was actually there when it happened, she seems a lot more concerned than the people who just arrived. But this then starts, no, that's not what happens. We have Brook coming in. Sorry if I'm getting the order jumbled, but it's okay, you watched the episode. Brook comes in, basically, and he looks not so good. But man, they don't really care, and he's really happy to see Luffy, and it was really cute when he hugged Luffy and just said, sorry about Sanji. Which again makes it sound like he's dead. Which, I mean, of course he's not, he left a letter, of course he's not dead. But Brook then tells them, all the newcomers or so, that basically they should avoid talking about Wano Kuni or the samurais or anything like that. And also one thing that I found really weird, in the anime, Brook said that Momo wasn't there because he didn't like the minks, but I'm pretty sure that in the manga he said that he was just not feeling well. So I don't know. I might be remembering it wrong, and the official translation might have said something else. But yeah, let me know if that's like a weird thing that happened, because I feel like that's a bit misleading. But then Brook gets interrupted when he's like done talking to them about like why they shouldn't mention these things, and we see that these a lot of these dog minks are just attacking him because he's made of bones and they love bones. And we have one that just being like, we just adore bones. I thought that was really funny. I cracked so much, I laughed so much at that also in the manga. It's a really funny moment. Like Brook and his relationship with like these minks are just amazing. But then we go to the storytelling where, because Usopp's like, okay, wait, the last we knew of you, you were literally being attacked by Big Mom, like what the hell? Which of course is something that should be addressed because they seem fine, and they were just attacked by like a Yonko. So yeah, Nami explains that on the ship that attacked them, we had Tamako, Peckhams, and a person from the Watch Generation, Capone Gang Beige, which, woo, he works for Big Mom. Wow, what? And they basically tell the story of how they escaped. I'm not gonna go too into this because you just saw the episode, no need for me to tell you. And they escape, and then apparently the next day they reach So. And apparently them having reached So when they did was like a miracle according to Wanda, because she looks like really grave and like she's just like re-experiencing some trauma, which we know occurred because something has definitely been going on here. I mean, Wanda wouldn't even told Luffy that they were attacked by Jack, so that shouldn't really be a surprise at this point. But even though Frankie's like, you don't need to tell us if it's too much for you, Wanda's like, no, you are our saviors and you have a right to know. But before she can get into the story of like telling us what the hell happened, she gets interrupted by someone who tells them that apparently the Duke, Dogstorm, has woken up and he would like to see the savior. So first Chopper runs off with Tristan and Miyagi, who are like his doctor helpers, and they go to see Dogstorm, and the others will soon follow. And I think it's no surprise that you'll get the rest of the story, or more of the story next chapter, because next episode, because the preview. But that's basically what happens. Now let's get into like analyzing this thing. As this is the anime, I think it's like obvious to talk about the visuals, and for So in general, the episodes have looked great. Like especially in the shows, I've been really down on the anime because it just looked terrible most of the time. But they've really done a great job with So right. So yeah, let me just get into that. I noticed that there were a few reused animation points, like especially when we had the fight between Big Mom and the Curly Hat Pirates, because of course we saw like the beginning kind of that in Dressrosa, and you could really see that. I don't really have a problem with reused animation, because that means that they can use like more time on the other scenes. But the problem with this was just that you could see that the animation quality just dropped, because of course in Dressrosa it just looked shit, and so it looks really beautiful. So you could just like see how the animation just went from being really great to just being really wonky for like a minute. That was kind of annoying, because I'm not always a person who notices these things, and it's not until like I go into like, okay, I need to analyze this episode mode, that I see, okay, that was a bit weird and that was a bit wonky. Like, I don't really do that, but when it's that much of a difference, you can't help but notice. Other than that though, it just looked really great. Like, I feel like the fight scene, or their escape attempt, was a little slow at times, especially when Chopper went into his monster point and took Caesar and gathered the cannonballs and threw it to Sanji. Like, that scene felt like it was like 1 minute long, and I felt like it should have been 5 seconds. But, I mean, they have to drag sometimes, and it's fine, because this episode was really great and really enjoyable, and I didn't really notice this until like, I like had a feeling that it might happen, but then I watched it a second time and I was like, okay, it's a bit slow. A few other things. We had like one shot that really kind of annoyed me, where we had like Zoro being Garchu and drinking in like the middle, and then we had in the foreground we had Wanda and Usopp just not moving and just looking really wonky, and I thought that was just a really weird like choice of animation, because then you have the foreground, which is usually like where your attention is, where you just have nothing. You just have still shots of people, and then you have Zoro kind of moving in the middle / background. Like, I thought that was really weird. And also I think Carrot looks really weird in profile. I don't know if that's just me, but I thought the way her face was shaped, it was just really weird. Maybe that's because she's a mink and that was like intentional, I don't know. But yeah, as I said in the beginning, Nicholas and Simon look like amazing. That was just great. There was almost no fan service. I don't know if you noticed. Like, we had, of course, Nami and Robin have their big boobs, but that's like normal. That's not really fan service, just them having big boobs, and it was just like really great. And I noticed that a lot of the time where you would usually put in fan service, where you just like showcase Nami's boobs, they just cut off like here, so we just saw her face, and I thought that was like really great, because she was telling them a story, and they decided not to focus on her boobs. Like, wow, great! That was just amazing. Also, one thing that I don't know if I'm the only one who's like noticing stuff like this, but especially going from the opening, which just don't know how to draw Nami, her hair in this episode was just great. Like, her hair just looked real and great and just perfect. I don't know if I'm the only one who notices these kinds of things, but because I'm really like, I don't know, hair in animation is just like, that's like a make or break for me. And they just, Nami looked great in this episode. Robin looked weird at some points, but that was mostly in the reused animation bits, especially when she was like looking around when she was like talking about, well, from my perspective, I think that this happened 2 weeks ago or something. She looked a bit wonky there, and there was a few times where you just in general looked... I feel like they don't know how to draw Robin in general, but Nami looked great. I think that's enough about animation. Let's get into the music, because I really love like music in One Piece. And I think I noticed 2 new tracks in this episode. I think there were new tracks at least. The first one was the one where in the banquet scene, it was just like... I thought the track was really well like used, because it was a light track and it made this really happy and chilled atmosphere, but for a One Piece banquet you know that it's not quite up there, because we have like the mystery of what the hell happened to Sanji, we still haven't seen Broken Momo yet, where is Caesar, like why is the country in ruins, like we had all of these things. So it was like when they had a banquet you're like, okay, so you're just ignoring the problems, but then the music was really good because it was like, okay, they're having fun, but we know that something's gonna happen really soon, we need answers. So I thought that was really great, and it's just, in general, the music was just really enjoyable. And the last track I think the episode had, I thought that was new. I feel like I haven't heard that before, and that was just like, that was really great, because you have like the announcement that Dogstorm, the Duke of the Day, has just woken up. And that's really amazing, because he's one of the true rulers, so you're sure to get some information from him, and just for anime only, he's like an amazing character. I really love Dogstorm. But yeah, that piece of music was just really great. Like, again, I watched this episode 2 times, and the music struck me. I really love the soundtrack they have for so far. I shouldn't say so and so. I think that overall this episode was really great. I think the pacing was really good. Like, they had, like, as I said, scenes from the manga that were extended, but they've done a really great job of like using like 1.5 chapter on like each episode, and then extending a couple of scenes, but then doing it really well. So like, I think so far so is really good, and I'm really happy, because this is just such a good arc. And in the manga, I mean, you can probably already tell if you're an anime only, but it's really short, it's a short arc, and it's just very self-contained and amazing. And even in the manga, if you haven't read the manga, I kind of suggest that you do so, because the art in the manga is just mind-blowing. Like, the going from Dressrosa to So was just amazing, like such a good break. The episode also did a really good job like setting up like the stuff with Sanji, and like what has happened to this, because we have like hints of, okay, so Jack was there, and we know that Jack works for Kaido, but we don't really know like what happened and why it happened. Like that's the big question, why did these things happen? And also like with Sanji, we have no clue, because okay, so you escaped from Big Mom, then you got onto this island elephant which had been destroyed by one of Kaido's people, but then what happened to Sanji? Like what's up with that? And I thought just they do a really good job of like setting these things up and just giving you enough information each episode to just like speculate, but you're still not quite sure what's happening. And yeah, as I said, this episode was also really entertaining, like the stuff with Brook getting chewed on, the stuff with Negas and Simon. I think is it even called Negas and Simon? Negas Simon maybe? I don't know. The cat. The episode was good, like. But yeah, I think that's kind of all I had to say about this episode, because I don't want to spoil anything for anime onlys. Also just like information thing here. Next week, because there is like a 1-hour special of Kochikame, there is no One Piece or Dragon Ball Super, if like you watch that. So yeah, next week we are on break, but I'm thinking of doing like some kind of like in-depth review of the opening and the new intro, because as I haven't talked about those and I have a lot of opinions. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that for next week instead of like an anime episode, since we don't have anything. But yeah, I'll leave a link in the description to like the article that talks about the schedule for the next few One Piece episodes and why there's no episode, if you're interested in that. If you liked anything that I had to say in this video, please leave a thumbs up and leave in the comments below what you thought of the episode, and if you're an anime only, what do you think will happen? And if you're not an anime only, then tell me how you felt the episode did in accordance with the manga, because I felt like it was a really good adaptation. And yeah, subscribe to me if you want to see more of me. I usually do reviews of One Piece, the manga, Shokugeki no Soma, Haikyuu, both manga, Boku no Hero Academia, and the One Piece anime as of now. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those things, you can subscribe to me, and until next time, bye!